this is Mary, and welcome to another episode of Taking a Mary Break, where and we are in before I'm excited today because I've got a great one here. Okay, I've got the great Jason Crespin, and we are in the series of the arts. And who better to talk about the arts than the one and only right here? We've got it. And so Jason Crespin is a managing director of Amarillo Little Theater. But you have a lot of passion, as everybody knows, and quite a story. So why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit?
Yeah, so we're here at the Amarillo Little Theater main stage. This is the now newly named Alan Schenkel's main stage. I'm very excited to be a part of this session today, this interview. My story is kind of fun. So I, in fact, walked into this theater 25 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I was 15 years old. I was a kid. One of my dear friends in high school said, I'm going to go audition for this musical at the Amarillo Little Theater called West Side Story.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, well, what is that? I don't know that. And so I went to the Blockbuster on Georgia Street
Oh my gosh.
and got the VHS of West Side Story and took it home and watched it and thought, oh my gosh, this is a really fun musical. I think I want to come audition. And so I did. I came and auditioned with her. And sad story, I got in and my friend did not.
Oh,
isn't that crazy? She was the one. She was the one that was like, I want to go do this.
You. Yes.
And so from that moment on, I have been here at Amarillo Little Theater volunteering. I volunteered all throughout high school. I joined the Academy program, the Children's Theater program here. Did that through high school, and then all through college. I was volunteering here. Started teaching some dance classes for the theater. When I graduated in 2006, a part-time position became available here that I applied for and got. After that year, then I was the newly named Academy Director for the Amarillo Little Theater, so in charge of the Children's Theater program. So that was kind of a full circle moment for me.
Yes.
And then about 3 years ago, the Managing Artistic Director at that time, Alan Schenkels, retired, and him and the board selected me as the new Managing Artistic Director. So again, another full circle. So 25 years later, I'm still here at the theater, just a different role.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So how about if we talk about kind of your passion? Like I know your passion is the arts, but you've also have quite a story with New York and a few things that have happened. Why don't you dig into that? That was an incredible time.
It was definitely a crazy moment in my life where I basically just said, I'm going to apply for all these things. I'm going to try all these things. Almost more so for an example to my students of like, why not try for something? The worst that they can say is no, and you'll be in the same boat that you're already in. But at least apply yourself. And so the first, I'm trying to think, it was 2015. There was a contest for NewYork.com. Basically, they were trying to find the ultimate Broadway fan. And I sent in a video, and I got in the top 10 of that video, and ended up winning this contest. And so got flown out to New York City with then my, at that time, my husband. We got flown out, wined and dined. We got to see a show. We got to go to the Tonys rehearsal, which is of course the big, ceremony for honoring theater. It was amazing. We ended up going to the actual Tony Awards, and the after party was phenomenal. So after I came back, instead of just saying like, that was great and we're done, I ended up writing a couple articles for them, and they published them. And so they brought me back a couple years, and I got to go to the Tonys nominations and kind of meet the nominees for a couple years after that. Worked the red carpet one year, which was just insane. So got to meet some really cool people that way. Then shortly after that, I sent in an application for a game show. It's no longer on the air, but there was a game show called Hollywood Game Night.
Yes.
Jane Lynch was the host of that. And through several interviews, I got selected to go get flown out there. Did another interview out in LA, and then got chosen to be a contestant on the series. Ended up playing, ended up winning, which was crazy.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
That's
so,
amazing.
It's season 4, episode 6. It's the big battle of the sexes.
I'm gonna troll it.
Okay. But it was so much fun. So got to do that. Played, with some celebrities on that game show, and then because of kind of that, there was the Live with Kelly show was Live with Kelly and Michael Strahan. He was leaving the show at the time. They did a big kind of national search for this just regular Joe to be her co-host for a day. And I applied, and I got in the top 40. Then I got voted and got in the top 20, and then had to send another video, got in the top 10. And then got to the finals, got to final 5. They flew me out, got to compete live on the show. It was so much fun. Ended up coming in fourth. Didn't end up winning, but made some great contacts. Every time I go to New York, I go see the show and see my friends that are still working a part of that show and stuff like that. And
That's so awesome.
so yeah, so I've been able to do a lot of things in New York and in the Broadway kind of scene and the fun thing all throughout that, I make sure people know I'm from Amarillo.
Yes.
Making sure that, they're like,
Yes.
oh, we have a great theater in Amarillo Little Theater. Every time I go anywhere, I say, when I say where I'm from, they always say, oh, I drove through there. And I always tell them, stop next time. Don't drive through, stop. We have some great theater. We have some great art scene.
And
we have a
yes.
symphony, a ballet, an opera. So much
and Jason, that's why I'm doing this series of the arts, because people that are not local, don't realize the magnitude, the exceptional talent we have here in Amarillo. A lot of people think, I kid around, that all of us, we do just, there's like Little House on the Prairie, and we just have hats and that's not the case
at all.
That is not very cultured and just really extraordinary.
Well, and to think, Amarillo Little Theater, we turned 96 this year. We'll be 97 next year. The symphony just turned 100.
Yes.
For 100 and 100 years ago, 96 years ago, for the people of Amarillo to think we need this art scene, we need a symphony, we need an opera, we need a ballet, we need a theater, and then for us to keep that alive so many years, that's a huge testament to the people of the Panhandle, for sure.
It is. It's an honor. Yeah, absolutely. So tell me a little bit about what's going on right now in Amarillo Little Theater.
Yeah, oh my gosh, we're so excited. We are celebrating our 96th season. We're in the middle of a great musical called Spam-A-Lot right now. We're about to open our second weekend of that show. But we've had a great season. We opened with a great play called End of the Rainbow earlier this year about Judy Garland. Right. We had Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. We had big shows in our academy like Disney's Little Mermaid. The Play That Goes Wrong was a huge hit for us this year about all the things that could go wrong in a show. We had Rent over at the Adventure Space, and that's the great thing about the Little Theater is we do have this space, which is this huge. We have 453 seats, can put on big shows, but then we have the intimate space of the Adventure Space, and that's where we can do. We just did Sense and Sensibility there, which yes, it could have been on our main stage for sure, but the intimacy of that show is just what was needed for the Adventure Space.
Absolutely. And
so we're really lucky that we have two spaces. Our academy kids, our academy program is flourishing. They get to perform at both of these spaces. They get to use our state-of-the-art lighting and our microphones and use all of the aspects that we have of the theater. But they're basically funneling the next generation of theater goers, of performers, of board members, of business owners that will support the arts. And so we're really blessed that we have not only the academy, but the resources that we have here at ALT.
Incredible. So what's something coming up that you're excited about?
So we're really excited. In the past couple of years, we have, I think it's just because of our history with the professional aspect of theater that we provide, but we've been getting these early kind of exclusive offers, if you will. Okay. So to let your viewers know, when a show is on Broadway, it'll run on Broadway for however long. We cannot get the rights to those shows that are running on Broadway. So Wicked, for example, Hamilton, long shows that have been running, that are still running, we just can't get the rights to yet. When a show closes on Broadway, it usually runs on a tour for about 2 to 3 years. After that is kind of when they might start trickling out some rights to community theaters or regional theaters. Last year, we got the exclusive rights to Carole King's musical called Beautiful.
It was wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah, it was so fun. And when we got those rights, really, really early. We found out not only were we going to be the 4th theater in the nation to be able to produce the show, but we were the first community theater, which meant the 3 other shows before us were professional theaters that had professional actors coming in and get paid in the whole 9 yards. So when we found that out, that was really exciting. Well, this past year we got another early offer, which was very exciting, and so we will be producing in the fall a great musical called Waitress. Sarah Bareilles, in fact, wrote the music for this show. It's based off of the movie that was with Kerry Russell many years ago. But we got exclusive rights to that, so we're opening our 97th main stage season with Waitress the musical, which I'm very excited about. It's going to be a great show.
Oh my gosh, that is incredible.
Yeah, we also have up on the other musicals next year that we're producing are Christmas Story the musical, which of course is a hilarious musical based off of the movie that we all know and love. It'll include leg lamps and the whole 9 yards. We also have a great musical called First Date the musical. It's a perfect kind of modern take on what dating is right now. Then in the spring, we will close out our 97th season with Dream Girls, which is going to be a huge show for us.
Yes.
So excited that we finally get to do Dream Girls. It's going to be epic. It's going to be awesome. We have some great plays as well. Of course, we have plays called Dial M for Murder, made famous, of course, by Alfred Hitchcock.
Yes.
There's a great kind of perfect for Halloween show called Arsenic and Old Lace. It's about the
gosh.
right. It's such a classic. It's
Yes,
such a great
I've
show.
seen it.
Yeah,
Yes.
about these two old ladies that basically help these elderly men die. Basically, they help kill them because they think that their time is done. It's hilarious, a hilarious play. We also have some great adventure space shows. A play called 33 Variations, which is about a woman who's dealing with ALS and her kind of discovery of, she's writing a book about Beethoven. So the story not only takes place with her kind of doing her research about Beethoven, but it flashes back to Beethoven actually who's writing these 33 variations of a music piece. So it goes back and forth and kind of shows the overlap of how both worlds, even though they're years apart, are very, very similar. It's a beautiful play. We have another play that opens our season called Drowning Girls. I'm really excited about this play because it's based on true life events about these 3 different women at the turn of the century, of the 19th century. And they were all brides. You come to find out they were all married to the same person at some point, but they were all murdered in a bathtub. And you come to find out why and what happens. It's so good. It's such a good play.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so it's gonna be really, really cool show. There's a lot of randomly murder next season. We don't know why, but exactly. We have Dial M for Murder and Arsenic and Old Lace.
I love it.
But it's gonna be a great season. Our Academy just announced as well. They're doing Charlotte's Web, which is just gonna be a great show over at the Adventure Space.
Yes.
James and the Giant Peach, the musical. So it's gonna be a big season for our 97th. I'm really excited.
That's so incredible. So here's one for you. If someone is just starting out,
Sure.
and has got the bug,
Yeah.
right? We love that, and it doesn't matter how old you are.
No,
right?
not at all. That's the great thing about the theater is we have people who are kids in elementary school who are playing elves in Elf the Musical, or the Oompa Loompas in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, to grandparents who are playing these elderly roles or these other roles. We have people who are volunteering with running lights or working backstage or handing programs. Not even all on stage. We have all volunteers all over who help with costumes, who help pull props. I mean, it really is a community theater for all ages of our community.
I love that. So if someone has that bug and wants to get into that, what would you say would be the best way to get your foot in the door? Start the auditions and start.
Oh, for sure. I always say when people are like, I'm thinking about auditioning, I always say, fantastic, come audition. Even if you are like, I don't know, come watch an audition. All of our auditions are mostly open. That way you can kind of just see what the process is like. I always say too, come be a part of our crew. It's less of a commitment where you can come in maybe a week before the show opens. You get your feet wet knowing people, getting to know the ins and outs of how the shows work. They understand, this is, what it means when we have a call time, which is an hour before the show, and how we have to get everything ready for the show and the audience and things like that. I always tell people, if they want to come take a class, we offer all classes for all ages. We have adult playwriting, we have adult dance classes, we have vocal classes for kids. I mean, we have so many different classes in our academy program. That's always a great time. I always tell parents as well when they say, I have a kid, they might be interested, they're very outgoing, but we're not sure. I would say summer camps are the best thing for them because it's less of a commitment. It's either a week or 2-week camp. And I always describe it as like the appetizer for theater.
Yes.
Because they can get a taste of it and they can see if they like it before having to eat the whole meal. Because whenever you commit to a whole semester, that can kind of sometimes be daunting. Or they might say, we don't have the time, or we don't know if we have the time, if they're going to love it or not. So now is the perfect time to look at camps because we have so many great camps this summer, especially for all of our kiddos. But I always tell people, just come. I'm telling you, you're not going to find a more inviting, a more positive environment for all walks of life. It doesn't matter who you are. What
judgment-free zone
exactly.
here.
It doesn't matter
Absolutely.
the color of your hair, the pronoun that you're using.
Exactly.
You're probably going to get a hug. Unless you don't want to hug. If you have boundaries, we won't hug you.
We're huggers.
Yeah, exactly. We're theater people, and that's who we are. And that's what I love about the little theater. And I think that's what I felt safe coming in as a 15-year-old kid, feeling very welcome, feeling that I was included, that my voice could be heard. And I think that's why I've stuck around. I mean, a lot of people ask me all the time, they're like, Jason, why are you still in Amarillo? Like when all those things were going on in New York or California, things like that, it's like, it's because of the theater. There's not a place like ALT really elsewhere.
No, there's not.
We're really lucky that we have our volunteers that we have, the board that we have, our staff is phenomenal. We continue to always need support when it comes to people coming to volunteer or people coming to, donate and fund these shows. Because just like everything else, I mean, the price of everything is just so, I mean, lumber alone, when we go to Home Depot, it's like, oh my gosh.
I know.
What it used to cost us just to build a set, even 2 years ago to now, it's almost tripled, just the amount in wood.
Yeah.
And so, sadly, our donors haven't tripled. And that's where we're like, okay, we got to hit the ground running and really keep doing our best work. So hopefully we can keep continuing getting those donors.
Absolutely. So when auditions come up, how does how do you post that an audition's coming up? Where can people look?
Great question.
That kind of thing.
Sure. So always look at our website. That's the best spot for it. Or any of our social media, or on our Facebook, Instagram, things like that. But our website will always have our current and upcoming auditions. Right now we don't have anything posted because we have yet, next season we'll start. Our auditions probably for our July show will happen mid to end June. So we have a little bit of time still for those auditions. I still have to figure out who's directing what next season. I'm still in the middle of this season, so I'm wrapping that up. But basically, we always have an audition packet for our shows that have kind of come out. I did that for the Academy, so kind of when I took over the main stage, I thought I'm going to keep these packets going because there's so much information, especially for new people.
Absolutely.
So in that packet, it's going to tell you when auditions are, what you have to have prepared, if anything. Mostly for our musicals, we ask that you prepare about a 60-second song. It doesn't have to be all 60 seconds. We just say no more than 60 seconds to sing. It could be a song that you just love to sing. It could be a song from a musical. It could be if you want to sing Happy Birthday, we just need to hear you sing. If it's a big musical that has a lot of dancing in it, there'll be a dance combination that the choreographer may teach. For plays, we don't have you prepare anything. We just have you come. We give you what's called sides, which is basically scenes. We ask you to read those scenes in what's called a call reading, which basically means you have a little bit of time to prepare, but you don't have, a day or 2 days to prepare the scene. We just say, go look at it, come back, and we have you read it with other people who are auditioning. We have in that packet where you can fill out all your information, where you can fill out all your conflicts, because you're volunteers. We know you might have volleyball every Tuesday night, and we don't want you to have to change that, but we want to know so we don't rehearse you on a Tuesday night. We can then work around those conflicts, and then we just kind of go through that audition process. We encourage everyone to come, especially new people. We always say, ask questions. If you don't know, ask questions.
Yeah.
We want you guys to feel the most confident. We want people to feel leaving like, I had the best audition possible.
Absolutely.
And then for some reason, if you don't get in, we say, do you want to be a part of the crew? If you do get in, we say, welcome. Here's your rehearsal schedule. Here's your materials. And then we hit the ground running.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's so fantastic. Well, very good. So what is the website they would go to? What's is it just Amarillo Little Theater?
Amarillo Little Theater. And we spell theater Theatre. So AmarilloLittleTheater.org. And if anyone has any questions, maybe they're on the website, they can't find things, shoot me an email. It's just Jason, Jason, at AmarilloLittleTheater.org. So don't forget, Theater RE. Yeah.
Wonderful.
It's AmarilloLittleTheater.org. That's
Well,
us.
it is always a pleasure
Yeah,
to have
thank
you
so much,
here.
yeah.
And one thing I do want to say too is I always say, Jason, at the end of every episode that we have to be kind.
Oh, 100%.
We have to be kind because we never know what anyone's going through.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And my tribe, we pay it forward.
I love that.
And we love on people. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for
Yeah,
your
thank
time.
you so
I'm going to
much.
say goodbye. You go ahead and
Yeah.
say goodbye.
Thanks so
Thanks
much.
again. And as always, this is Mary, and I'm out.
Woo!
Bye.